The general consensus among the photographic community is that the worst place to locate a flash is on the same axis as the lens. And this is exactly where the flash is if you put it on the hot shoe. Let's first take a look at a few photos taken with this setup. The scene is quite heavily backlit, and the first photo is just to demonstrate what will happen if you don't use a flash. The subject is very underexposed. This second photo was taken with a flash, but I didn't dial in any flash exposure compensation. And what I normally find with Canon flashes, that if you don't put in any flash exposure compensation, the subject is normally a little overexposed. With this third photo, I dialed in minus 2/3 of a stop flash exposure compensation. I find with my Canon flashes I normally need to dial in minus 1/3 or minus 2/3 of a stop, and you can see that the balance between the background and the subject now looks a lot better. The subject isn't quite as bright as it was. Mounting your flash on the hot shoe isn't quite as horrific as some people would make out. I've taken many pleasing photos with the flash in the hot shoe, and in many situations it's just not possible to create an elaborate lighting setup. The only option you have is to put your flash in the hot shoe. If you do have an opportunity to get your flash off camera, it still needs to be controlled by the camera, and there are various ways you can do this. The simplest way is just by using a cable connected from the hot shoe to the flash, but using a cable isn't ideal. You have a limited range depending on the length of the cable, and cables can be tripped over. Or you can use various wireless devices, and it's one such device I'm going to talk about today, the Canon ST-E2 Speedlite Transmitter. This is the Canon ST-E2. I'm not quite sure when it was released, but it's quite old technology now. Let me just give you a quick overview. A battery in the top, and all the controls are on the back. On-off switch, off. The sensor setting is on. And then once you've set up all your adjustments, if you move it to hold, that means you can't accidentally or inadvertently mess up any of your settings. It supports high-speed sync and ETTL, the evaluative through the lens metering system. The pilot light illuminates when the unit is ready to fire, and there's also a confirmation light to confirm that your image is being exposed properly. There are channels and groups that you need to understand. Channels you select between 1 and 4, and the idea here is that if someone else is using an STE-II nearby, if you're using different channels, then one system won't interfere with the other. With groups, you can set your flashes up into groups. The minimum number of flashes you need in a group is 1, and I don't think there's a maximum. If you've got 100 flashes, you can set 50 in group A and 50 in group B. Then with your flashes set into groups, you can adjust the ratio between group A and group B to get the desired effect. So let's turn it on, and there's a little button here for ratio on or ratio off. So when we put ratio on, we can then use these two buttons to adjust the ratio, and it goes 8:1, 4:1, 2:1, 1:1, 1:2, 1:4 and 1:8. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to set one of my speed lights up in group A and one in group B on the left and the right of the subject, and then take photos at different ratios so that you can see the effect. Another feature of the STE-II is that it emits an AF assist beam. A few years ago, when AF performance in cameras wasn't very good, some people use these just to improve AF performance. But these days, with dual pixel technology, the AF performance in cameras is so good that things like this just aren't necessary. The transmission system is infrared, and this tends to work better indoors and has a longer range because the infrared bounces off walls, which it doesn't do outdoors. I'm going to use two speedlights today, a 430 EX2 and a 550X. I'm going to keep everything on channel 1. I'm going to put the 430 in group A and the 550 in group B. And one of the trickiest things about this is working out how to do this on the Speedlites, especially if you haven't done it for a long time and you can't remember how to do it. So on the 430 EX2, just press the zoom button and hold it down, and it's actually set to how I want it already. It's on channel 1 and slave group A. If you need to change it, just press the zoom button again. That will cycle through these settings, and then just adjust it to how you want using this minus and plus button. It's a different procedure for the 550EX. So first we'll turn it on, then put it into slave mode. Okay, so now it's on channel 1, which I want, but slave group A, which I don't want. The 430EX is on A, I want this to be on B. So if I press the select set button, that cycles through exposure compensation, channel, and then slave group, and then I'll just press these buttons to get slave B, and I'm all set now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my 430EX, which is in group A, on the left, and the 550EX, put it in group B and put that on the right, and then operate the Speedlites using the STE-II, and with each photo I'm going to change the ratio so you can see the results. I'm all set up now. The STE-II is on the camera. It's set up to channel 1 in ratio mode, and on the left I have my 430EX, which is also in channel 1 but in group A, and over here on the right I have my 550EX, which is also in channel 1, but this is set up in group B. So what I'll do now, I'll take the 7 shots and then show you the results. Apart from cropping these photos for a video format and resizing them, they are exactly as they came out of camera, and I haven't done any post-processing. And just for comparison purposes, I'll show you again the photo that was taken with the flash on the hot shoe and a flash exposure compensation of minus 2/3 of a stop. The big question now is, would I recommend buying an STE-II? And the answer to that question is quite easy. Definitely not. It's still an expensive accessory, and since it was released many years ago, a lot has changed. Technology has changed, and also there's a lot more competition these days. Radio frequency has replaced IR, and it's a lot more reliable and gives greater range. Canon make radio frequency transmitters, as do other manufacturers. The other big change these days is the rise of the Chinese manufacturing industry. There are now many Chinese companies making great camera accessories, and these cost a fraction of the price charged by the large camera manufacturers. If you want to stick with Canon, this is a fantastic little device. It's the Canon Speedlite 90EX. It's a very useful little flash, small and light, with a guide number of 9 meters at ISO 100, and it also acts as a master unit. And it doesn't look much from the outside, but you can set up the adjustments through your camera, and it will give you basically all the functionality of the STE-II. Plus, it's a very useful little flash. This will be a much better option than buying an STE-II. If you really want an STE-II, the Chinese company Yongnuo make an STE-II clone, which has all the same functionality. It looks basically the same, but it's a lot cheaper than the Canon version. I've had my STE-II for a long time now. I've enjoyed using it and it served me well. But things have moved on, and if I was in the market now to buy a Speedlite transmitter, I wouldn't buy another one. I would probably go for radio frequency, and I would seriously look at other manufacturers apart from Canon. I love my Canon equipment, and I do have a degree of loyalty towards the company, but third-party manufacturers these days are making some very good equipment at a very good price, and it certainly deserves a look. I hope this brief overview of the Canon STE-II has been useful. If so, please subscribe to my channel and please come back soon to watch some more videos.